What is going on, guys? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have Agnė, um, I guess former SDTC client, kind of currently, I don't know, helping her out when I can, when she needs me with technical stuff. So here is a recent 4K PP video slanging, um, slanging the 4K already pretty early in the year. We'll see if she can go for the Division III national record. Next spring. I think she can do it, no problem. So, yeah, let's take a look at this video. It's been cool to see your throw kind of change over the past couple months. Looking real strong, pretty solid rhythm. Really working the ball well. Head counter is getting crazy. So one more time through, and then we'll break it down. Okay, so I think you have some idiosyncrasies in your throw. Like, honestly, this throw as a whole is pretty solid. Connection's pretty good, timing's pretty good, rhythm's pretty good. There are some things I would change personally, but I think, like I said, idiosyncrasies, everybody has their own things that they kind of do, and so I'm just going to obviously kind of walk you through those things. I kind of want to skip the lines and entry right now because I think, like I said, the meat of this throw, where you really do things well, is are the turns. So after you catch on this first turn, you can really see yourself work back. You can see it. Hold on, why isn't this working? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Hitting 0, not the arrow key. So you catch, and then you can see yourself work up and back. Head goes back, shoulders go back. Posture is really solid. You see this right leg working with the hammer. You also see you're kind of going up against the hammer at its low point. Really nice. Very solid patience. Lower body working together with the hammer. Falling backwards away from the hammer, but still connected. Playing tug of war with it, but doing the right amount. Then you catch. Solid posture here. Left shoulder over this left side for the most part. Ball the right foot. Same thing. Head goes back. Shoulders go back. Right leg. Hammer. In line. Patient. Super long. Good direction. Step forwards. Level shoulders. Back against the hammer here. Very nice. All the right foot. You can see there's a little stagger in your left foot and right foot that gives you some pressure with this right hip to work through. What you do right there, again, killing it. And then same thing, just super long and relaxed. Great head counter. Right hip going up and in towards the ball. Catch. And then same thing, up and through on the finish. Pulling off a good bit, but not a big deal. Because like I said, so that's kind of the stuff that I'm a big fan of in 2, 3, and 4. Your pendulum's good, your posture's pretty good, your catches are good, your right leg and right hip is working really well, your patience with the ball is really good, your right femur's in line with the hammer wire. So that stuff I think is great. I think there's just some changes that you can make in the winds and entry a little bit that might help facilitate that stuff. So in the winds, super long to the left. Nice stable base. Step up or step in, whatever you want to call it. And then like even the wines look pretty good. You can see you're starting to shift that weight over to the left side here. I think if you could figure out how to be a little bit more patient with this head, as you can see that head and shoulder kind of leads everything through the entry, that might help connection a little bit more. So if you try to find a focal point kind of either at 0 or just before 0, I'm more of a fan of just before 0, like 15 or 30 degrees before 0. And then you can kind of still get that same sling with the right leg and the hips and the shoulders and all that stuff. But if you just keep your head back a little bit more, it might help connect your shoulders and hips to the ball a little bit more. Because, like I said, you can kind of see this left side pulling through the entry. And because of that, you can see these hips go back away from the hammer. Not a big deal in the entry, especially on a toe turn. I kind of do the same thing. This is just a little bit drastic, or a little bit more emphasized, I should say. But you can see the kind of separation between the right leg as it's pointing kind of back towards 0. The femur is pointing back towards 0, while the left leg is pointing towards 90, and the hammer is kind of at 90 as well. And then your head kind of leads around here until you get on that first catch. Then you really get back against it. So, like I said, I think if you got this right femur, like I said, kind of turning with the ball a little bit more, or even trying to get this hip going towards the hands as it goes around the left. Like I said, I think this is kind of the biggest thing right here in your throw that I would change. But like I said, the way 2, 3, and 4 kind of develop from this, maybe you found your good feel, and this is what you need to do to set up 2, 3, and 4 really well, because that's really what matters in the hammer throw. Yeah, the entry matters, but if you kind of need to do these compensations to set yourself up to hit 2, 3, and 4 the way you are, I mean, I'm not too upset about it. But yeah, the biggest thing I think is this right leg and this right hip kind of going with the hammer a little bit more in the first turn. Because otherwise, like I said, the turns are pretty solid. You could be a little bit deeper in the legs. As you can see, you're kind of almost standing straight up. Like if you were like maybe an inch or two higher, this left heel would come down a little bit later, and then the low point would shift, and you'd probably shank more throws to the left. Left leg's a little bit straight in single support as well, but you do a good job of not rising too much more, especially when you kind of drop in later turns as well. So yeah, like I would say a little bit deeper in the legs in the turns. Like I said, your overall action of like working this right leg up and back and getting that right hip into the ball, especially right there. This right hip movement goes around and forwards and up into the towards the high point. I think that's really good. Your single support movement could be a little bit more of like an A skip. As you can see, your heel kind of comes up towards your butt rather than kind of A skipping over. So lead with the knee a little bit more, with that foot forwards a little bit more. That might help with your balance a little bit. But these are kind of like the minutia. Like I said, you're doing the big things pretty well. Your patience is good. Your connection is good. The way you work the ball, the pendulum, all that stuff's really good. So yeah, off this wind, through the entry. You could maybe keep your hands up a little bit more in the winds too. Let me see. That might help stability a little bit. Yeah, maybe try keeping this right elbow up. You can see your left arm looks like ridiculously long here, which is dope. But I think that right arm needs to be a little bit straighter. And like I said, just more patience in the entry. Try to maybe get a little bit more of like an Adam Keenan. I'm a big fan of his entry. Kibwe kind of does the same thing where he really just lets the ball go ahead. But yeah, you can see the left side kind of pulling in the entry. That's kind of the only gripe I have with this throw. But like I said, not even really too mad about it because 2, 3, and 4 is just pretty crispy. But I think if you had maybe a little bit more pendulum backwards, lean backwards here in the entry just a bit, and then got that right leg going with the hammer a little bit more, you'd be able to catch a little bit sooner on that first turn, because as you can see, you kind of you catch just before 270, but from there the catches get kind of a little bit deeper as the throw goes on. Yeah, because I think when you come through here and you kind of sink the hips down, you rise up a little bit there, then you catch, and then you really rise up a good bit as the right hip goes to work. So maybe try to stay just like I said, just down in the legs a little bit more. It's a hard thing to learn, to work that right hip and right leg in the same sort of way, but not extend that left leg as much to keep you from rising up. Super long and relaxed up to the upper body. That's dope. So yeah, I mean, like I said, some little things I'd fix here and there. Overall, you're really figuring out how to accelerate the hammer in the turns, which is good. That's what matters, because most people, they just wind faster and enter harder to throw farther. When you can really learn how to accelerate in the turns, then you can enter nice and easy, and your throw gets more stable, and then all of a sudden your results are more stable as well. You're throwing farther more consistently. Um, so yeah, maybe hands a little bit higher in the entry, keep that right elbow up, and then just be more patient with the hammer in the entry. Like I said, find a little focal point for your head. Um, Throw the ball forwards, and then wait for the hammer to pass, and then just feel this right hip. Because I think the problem is when people push the hammer head or let the hammer get more head in the entry, that right hip is not with it, and that's why they kind of feel disconnected on the first catch. So if you can be more patient with the hammer, let the hammer get ahead, but then also feel this right hip and right leg going with it as it goes around the left, that might give you a little bit more direction. Might make this first catch a little bit, this posture a little bit better if you can get your hips a little bit more underneath you. Um, and then I'll just make this transition from 2-3 to 4 even more seamless. So, yeah, good job, Agnė. Dropping bombs in the fall. Love to see it. Let me know if you have any questions. If anybody else out there would like a technical analysis, go to, never mind, I was going to say go to my website, but it's still not up because, hey, I'm training. That's my job. But if you want a technical analysis, hit me up on Instagram at SDThrows, or slide in my YouTube comment section, or send me an email, and we'll get to work. So thanks for watching, Sean Don. Peace and out. Until next time.